So there's two steps to the tapping. There's the actual tapping and dropping the line, and then there's connecting that line. And I find like it's usually easier to have one person going ahead and tapping and one person following and connecting it in. It doesn't really matter the order, but so, you know, what we don't want is this.
Got it.
Because a little sap on days when like the sap isn't flowing can stay in there and develop bacteria and get a little funky. So if you're coming back and cutting it in and there's this much line, you want to cut it in at a point where it's going to come straight down and not leave a little loop. This guy I know that has a big operation recommends each person spend 30 seconds looking at the tree before drilling a hole. Walk around. You don't want to be right under a big injury. And then you want to go in totally level. If anything, slightly like this, but aim for totally level. You don't want to be this way because some sap could just pool in there. And again, anytime there's liquid just like pooling, it's more of a chance to develop bacteria. So I'm gonna go right here. It looks like a nice smooth spot. Like, you know, if you go through there, obviously like that's not great. A nice smooth spot of bark, but it could be here or here. But this to me, I don't see any other tap holes above or below it. Does that look level? Yeah. It's basically it. Don't go in a second time because you'll probably make it yeah. You're gonna tap it in, get a few little taps to get it started. And then cut this about right there. So I'm gonna measure to where that can connect relatively easily. And you're gonna close this till you have about that much in between. And then we'll take your knife or the box cutter, one quick slice, and then it should hold the whole line. And then you put this in here. Then I often use two hands. You kind of need enough force. Get this lined up and just boop. And that's it. It's tapped.
Behind me, we have a team taking the DBH of the trees that we're going to tap for maple syrup. And there's a couple reasons to do that. One of the big ones is if we want to look at comparing sap output between different areas we're tapping, or particularly if we want to look at sap output over time. Say our hypothesis is that with global warming, the amount of sap production is changing. Then we need to be able to standardize by the number and the size of the trees that we tap each year, because it changes from year to year. So by taking this data, we can get a estimate of the basal area that we're tapping each year, and then we can adjust to standardize between years, so we can look if there are really any differences or if the differences are just caused by the size and number of trees we're tapping each year. In addition, now we have really good tree data from a section of the forest. And for example, we're starting to work with researchers at the Columbia Climate School, and we have a few professors who are interested in modeling our forest and grassland ecosystems in terms of carbon sequestration and carbon exchange. So by having this tree data, that allows them to feed real tree data into their model and build a better model of our ecosystem and how carbon sequestration is changing over time.
You always want to keep, you know,
Much tension.
quite a bit of tension, yeah.
Right.
Fine.
I get it.